So this is a question from my email list. It's related to a proposal for a WooCommerce website, which is why I've labeled it how to send and prepare a proposal for a WooCommerce website. The user who has submitted the question does not have a lot of WooCommerce experience, so there are a lot of variables in terms of what should be included in the website and so forth. So I'm going to do a quick brief explaining what should go into a proposal of an WooCommerce website and how to structure that internally. So regarding the idea, the email states essentially that the WooCommerce Redo should be based on an existing e-commerce website that's not based out of WordPress, so there's some migration that's involved here as well. Now, in terms of WooCommerce, as you know, it's something that powers about, over 40% of the e-commerce websites out there, especially for small businesses. So obviously it's a great solution for the vast majority of the e-commerce websites that you may need to run. Additionally, if you're doing a migration on the website, you need to take care of all the elements that an e-commerce website has itself, such as products, orders, users, transactions, payment gateways, and all the other features that may come handy and maybe important and maybe something that your customer needs. So it's important to understand what part of that could be handled and served through WooCommerce directly and what would need custom builds, custom integrations, or third-party plugins that you need to integrate. For those third-party plugins, essentially, you also need to understand whether they work fine, are they stable enough, reliable, how much they cost, and everything like that, and whether you can integrate them with your additional solutions. With regards to that, WooCommerce stores a good chunk of the important data that you may need in the standard WordPress database, that is products and users and so forth, which makes it possible to obviously extend it and introduce different solutions dealing with custom post types and custom meta fields, which is great. In addition to that, obviously, it also has a bunch of other tables that are related to ordered items, tax rates, shipping zones, payment tokens, and some other aspects that are best suited for custom tables instead of placing them in the options table or in post meta or something else that's not really highly performant. In terms of estimates and how to define the estimate for that project, essentially, if you have a website that already does exist and serves the customer needs, you need to assess how long would it take to implement all those features with WordPress and WooCommerce, which means that you need a functional analysis document that lists all the critical features, all the features that the website currently has, all the features that the customer is actually using, because every now and then there are some WooCommerce stores or any types of e-commerce websites whatsoever that customers don't really utilize all the features that have been implemented. So with that in mind, it's important to implement something that makes use and is leveraged by the customer in hand, as compared to building something that wouldn't really be usable itself. So in terms of the proposal, essentially you need to implement your formula for estimation. The standard old school waterfall model estimates vary through estimating all the features, all the communication that you can predict and so forth, and then putting a 1.5 to 3 times multiplier of the project, keeping in mind all the scope creep and everything else going on. We generally suggest using retainers and agile development, since this is far more suitable and reliable and something that you can actually work alongside with the client, and you don't have to log them in with static and fixed estimates. But obviously clients do want some budget, so that's something that may work out. This also depends on your skills, on the complexity of the project, on your rates, on the state of market, and again, complexity of the website. Some important things that you should put in mind and also keep into account when discussing the price. Ask about the volume of users, different user roles, talk about traffic and scalability and things like that, because that's also important when discussing the hosting needs. Because again, a website that handles 1,000 visitors a month isn't the same as handling 10 million visitors a month, simply because you have a bunch of different sessions, you have a lot of things that cannot be cached in the e-commerce aspect and so forth, so you need to keep this into account. So based on that, figure out what is it worth for your client to get a revamped version of that website. What's the main business need? What's the main solution that you're the main problem that you're trying to find a solution of, and then quote there accordingly. Possible estimate maybe anywhere between 20,000 and 200,000 depending on the complexity of the project and everything along this way. So try to gauge that and try to assess that depending on the customer needs, depending on the time that you need to implement, and depending on the problem that you're solving. Simply because return of investment is super important. So if you can pretty much increase the revenue with say 50% and the revenue is 3 million a year, that's another $1.5 million a year, so you can easily ask for even $200,000 if you can achieve that. Apparently, if you don't have enough traffic, if you don't have any conversion rate optimization techniques or tactics or any SEO included or whatnot, then that's not going to be feasible. So you need to gauge that depending on how much do you actually solve a problem, how much money does your client lost right now, or what are the lost opportunities that you can fix with the website improvement. In terms of maintenance, we do have maintenance website plans that start usually from 10 hours a month, even though we rarely sign anything under 30 to 40 hours. Depending on, again, on your contract, you can go for an MVP, a minimum viable product, something that's more lightweight, something that's easier to manage, something that's easier to start with, and then increase and grow accordingly from there on. Good luck, and ask any follow-up questions in the comments.